more political persecution. We're going to see much, much more of this. And you're right to point out the juxtaposition between what's happening in the States, where they've just managed to claim a success in favor of their First Amendment, in favor of free speech, versus the UK, where free speech no longer exists. Tommy Robinson is still in jail. I know we'll come to that later. The people who were arrested over the protests, the so-called riots, have still got criminal records. These people need pardoning. Some people still need letting out. We have political persecution in a so-called Western democracy, and it's absolutely outrageous that this Labour Party, this Labour government, this tyrannous commie government is basically saying, you will align with our values, otherwise we'll shut you up. If you don't shut up, we will send you to prison.
The UK is soon about to be littered with political prisoners. The establishment and the authorities are working together on this, and the captured MSM, which we no longer trust, no matter what they spout from their corrupted organs, well, they're predictably turning a blind eye. Yet the stories are there every single day. I've been mortified today by the jailing for 9 months of the citizen journalist Cameron Bell. Now, no one else is going to talk about her, so I certainly will. This 23-year-old care worker was walking home from her job in Tamworth on the night of August the 4th when she started to live stream one of the so-called riots that took place that day in wake of the Southport massacre. Cameron was not at the violence earlier in the day that took place at the Holiday Inn Express. Indeed, she was not involved in any violence. The worst thing she was accused of was referring to illegal migrants as tramps. Now, perhaps that's not a nice comment, but I struggle to see how it in any way qualifies as inciting violence. Now, she was in tears, not surprisingly, in the dock today, as her lawyer, Stephen Rudge, said her involvement is to upload the TikTok footage that was not encouraging anyone to join in or extend the violence that had been going on earlier. Yet Cameron is now a pin-up for the Staffordshire police. Look at this, they're trumpeting her jailing today. And as Judge John Edwards locked her up for 9 months, he declared that she deserved immediate custody with the need for deterrence being acute. His words. Our two-tier system is completely screwed. Because there doesn't seem to be any goddamn need for deterrence when we're talking about Hugh Edwards making paedophile images, or the Muslim man Mohammed Hassan beating up 3 Asian women at a petrol station because they dared to wear Western clothes. Both men escaped a jail sentence altogether. No deterrence there. So we know what this deterrence really means. Let me tell you. It means shutting up the white working class masses who are horrified by the illegal invasion into our country and disgusted by the obvious establishment cover-up surrounding Axel Rudikabana, who has now been charged with terror offences, accused of producing the bioweapon ricin and downloading an Al-Qaeda training manual. And in light of that, it gets worse in terms of what happened in court today. Because the judge added, this is an exact quote, let me read it to you. The violence was fueled by misinformation and misplaced far-right sentiment. What the hell is he talking about? The only misinformation being fueled about Rudikabana was from the authorities and those in power, including Keir Starmer and Yvette Cooper, who have still not admitted what they knew when. And it's not just citizen journalists being hounded by the authorities into silence, or at least they hope into silence. The Orwellian targeting of Britain's best newspaper columnist, Alison Pearson, has finally stunned many of the establishment out of their slumber on this issue, with Boris Johnson posting on X, "This is appalling. How can Starmer's Britain lecture other countries about free speech when an innocent journalist gets a knock on the door for a tweet?" Our police have their hands full of burglaries and violent crime. They are being forced to behave like a woke Securitat, and it has to stop. Alison herself has hit out at the Essex Police, who have entered massive damage control for sending 2 officers to her house on Remembrance Sunday as they launched an apparent criminal investigation into a post on X a year earlier. She wrote on X, "Essex Police say it was unethical of me to report my awful experience at the hands of 2 constables." Really? The British people deserve to be informed about the Kafkaesque state of their justice system. Instead of solving frightening crime, police are frightening people. And yesterday, right here on Outspoken, Alison Pearson linked her situation to the attempted silencing of facts around Southport. Watch.
That this individual was allegedly making a bioweapon in their kitchen. That information is going to go straight to the Home Secretary and the Prime Minister and to the security services. So it's extremely serious. And I think the idea is, let's not give these plebs a reason to kick off. But in fact, what happened was that backfired, and then people got very upset and angry. And I would say that the alleged murder of 3 beautiful little girls was a cause to get upset and to be very angry and to wonder what manner of person is this that's living in our country who carries out this barbaric slaughter. But as we know from my visit from the police expressing any of this, I mean, who knows, they can call anything racism, Dan.
Yes,
even if you're...
And the tentacles, though, Alison, what really concerns me is they run so deep. Now, what depresses me most is that Britain is now being used as a case study of the tyranny the USA has narrowly avoided thanks to Trump's election. Here's
out there. There's a lot of people that don't speak their mind. Do you know how many artists that have reached out to me that are like fucking hippies, man? Like artists, like musicians, comedians that thanked me for endorsing Trump because they can't do it. They said they want to, but they don't want to be attacked. They can't say it. They think the country's going in the wrong direction. They think that this control of social media by the government, which we would have had pretty much fully if it wasn't for Elon buying Twitter, that this is a dangerous precedent to set, whether it's a right-wing government or a left-wing government. And that what you see that's happening in the UK where people are being imprisoned for tweets and Facebook posts.
In the UK is the part that's mind-bending about it.
Mind-bending. The whole thing is nuts, and it's a dangerous path that we were on. We were on that path. Trump has vowed to have free speech become a very important part of what he's standing for, and that this censoring of information needs to stop, and that we need to stop all government influence in what people have to say.
Yeah, look,
that alone.
That shouldn't be as revolutionary as it is.
I know. It should be a core tenet of what, I mean, it's essentially the First Amendment.
And of course, I'm absolutely delighted about America being saved. But we desperately need the same thing to happen here in Europe, specifically the UK. But I've got a lot of hope, especially when you watch the future Vice President, J.D. Vance, talking like, of course they should. But when you hear that sort of rhetoric coming from the future Vice President, it's easy to understand why lefties are in total meltdown. And this is the part we can enjoy, because I know all of the earlier stuff was depressing, but let's enjoy this part, because the boycott of X is hilarious. It's been sparked by the losers at The Guardian. It's their latest attempt to pretend that shutting down free speech is the solution to their complete rejection by anti-woke voters. As Konstantin Kisin, my friend, posted, The Guardian has stopped posting on X because it's toxic. Did you know The Guardian, which made identity politics its main grift, was created using profits generated by slaveries? This screenshot isn't from a hit piece, it's from The Guardian itself. Now look, you know things are serious though, when the Clifton Suspension Bridge joins in the boycott. I mean, goodness me, Elon must be quaking in his boots over that. Indeed, lots of other clowns, not just the Clifton Suspension Bridge, were shutting themselves down, and it's beautiful to watch, especially American hard left nasties like Don Lemon and Joy Reid.
And kissing goodbye my 1.9 million followers over there is because I hadn't been posting for a long time. I just didn't want to contribute content once it was purchased by its present owner. But just having it there, I was only holding on to it because I, really didn't want someone trying to take over that name and using it for nefarious purposes. I was a little bit worried about that. And also every so often I would use it to just sort of look at news that was trending and what's happening. And I would just sort of use it as an aggregator. But I just realized that's not really worth it, because in order to do the news aggregation and just look at all, you have to wade through a lot of dreck and a lot of just abuse and a lot of just negativity. And it's just not worth it.
Hi, everyone. I have loved connecting with all of you on Twitter and then on X for all of these years. But it's time for me to leave the platform. I once believed that it was a place for honest debate and discussion, transparency and free speech, but I now feel it does not serve that purpose.
But of course, the suggestion of the left is always now to try and silence their rivals using lawfare, cancellation, and lies. I, for one, know all about it. The other disturbing development of the day, the French deep state attempting the same thing with Marine Le Pen right now, because they genuinely seem to think that stopping her running for president by lawfare will then in turn stop the desire by the French people to save their dying republic. How can they keep getting all of this so wrong? This episode is brought to you by Manscaped, the global leader in men's lifestyle and grooming. Now, every man knows the unbeatable feeling of a fresh barbershop shave. Now, what if I told you that you no longer had to wait weeks or even months between appointments to experience it? Introducing Manscaped's latest release, the Chairman Pro package. Now, this all-in-one set includes everything you need to recreate the luxury of a professional shave right at home. First up, we have the star of the show, the Chairman Pro Electric Foil Shaver. It isn't just any shaver. It comes with 2 interchangeable skin-safe blades. You have the skin-safe 4-blade foil for that close, smooth shave when you're looking to go completely clean, and the skin-safe stubble trimmer for when you want to keep a bit of that rugged look. Both heads are designed with skin-safe technology to help reduce razor burn and irritation so your skin feels smooth and comfortable after every shave, reducing redness or discomfort. A standout feature is the Flex Adjust technology, which ensures a superior shave by allowing both blades and the pivoting head to seamlessly adapt to the unique contours of your face. And here's something that's going to make the grooming routine even easier. It is completely waterproof. It's also powerful enough to tackle up to 5-day growth, making it perfect whether you're shaving every day or just tidying up after a few days. It also comes with a travel lock too. But that's not all. The package also includes the Power Shave Gel to get the ultimate wet shave experience. The non-irritating lubricating formula is made specifically to work with the Chairman Pro, and it is packed with skin-soothing ingredients. To finish off, we've got the Face Shave Soother. It's an aftershave serum, a total game changer, and it's designed to help reduce redness and defend against ingrown hairs and razor bumps. So get the Chairman Pro package today. Experience a shave that is as smooth as you deserve. It has everything you need to keep your face looking and feeling best, all in one box. So head over right now to www.manscaped.com. Join the over 11 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. All you need to do is use the code Outspoken at checkout for 20% off and free shipping. So www.manscaped.com. Use the coupon code Outspoken. You'll get 20% off your entire order and free shipping. But now, back to the show. Now, The Outsider. And Father Calvin Robinson joins me. Father Calvin, goodness me, I mean, the lefty meltdown is hilarious. What is not hilarious is a 23-year-old care worker who was effectively operating as a citizen journalist ending up behind bars for 9 months.
More political persecution. We're going to see much, much more of this. And you're right to point out the juxtaposition between what's happening in the States, where they've just managed to claim a success in favor of their First Amendment, in favor of free speech, versus the UK, where free speech no longer exists. Tommy Robinson is still in jail. I know we'll come to that later. The people who were arrested over the protests, the so-called riots, have still got criminal records. These people need pardoning. Some people still need letting out. We have political persecution in a so-called Western democracy, and it's absolutely outrageous that this Labour Party, this Labour government, this tyrannous commie government is basically saying, you will align with our values, otherwise we'll shut you up. If you don't shut up, we'll send you to prison.
And Calvin, the thing is, you think about this woman, right? Working at a care home, walking home from said care home, she sees some chaos. She's not involved in the violence herself. She starts filming it, broadcasting it to TikTok. She already has been punished significantly, losing said job in care home, which, by the way, makes absolutely no sense for society because we desperately need people like Cameron Bell who are prepared to work in care homes. Now the solution is let's lock her up for 9 months because we've got to provide a deterrent to the plebs, right? The white working classes. But don't worry, there doesn't have to be a deterrent to Muslim men who beat up Asian women because they're in Western dress. Don't worry, there doesn't have to be a deterrent to powerful men who swap paedophilia on their phones.
In fact, anyone that's streaming anything should be considered a journalist. And also, if it's something bad that's going on and someone's streaming it, then that's letting people know what's happening. It's sharing it with the public, but it's also just sharing it with the authorities. It's evidence, potential evidence that can be used. So if there is a riot going on and someone's filming it and they're not taking part in the riot, they shouldn't be arrested. The people that are rioting should be potentially arrested. The person who's recording it, they should be asked if their evidence can be used in court. And this lady, I mean, it's obviously horrible what's happened to her, but she's not the only one this has happened to. Other people that were filming the protests and the riots earlier this year have been arrested for doing so. It's crazy. And what does that tell you? That they don't want you to expose what's happening because they want to paint their own narrative. The government wants to be able to... Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, wants to be able to stand on a pedestal and say, this country is full of far-right bigots. These are not protests. These are riots by far-right thugs. And of course, if there's evidence out there, we can make our own minds up with our own eyes. That's what they don't want. They don't want us to see the evidence for ourselves. They want us to believe what they tell us.
Father Calvin, though, how hilarious that all of the lefties, the Guardianistas, who are now undergoing counselling because democracy is so terrifying to them, seem to think the solution is quitting X. I mean, I just say, bye-bye, see you later. We don't need you here. But they will be back, won't they? Because they, at the end of the day, need big platforms, and X's numbers have never been higher, according to Elon Musk.
It's absolutely insane, Dan. First of all, it's not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. Just leave.
Yes.
This is the same for Don Lemon as it is for The Guardian. You can just stop using X. You don't have to tell people you're no longer using it. It's like, it's that narcissistic sense of entitlement. Like they want everyone to say, oh, no, please stay. Please don't. You're so important to my life. No, you're not important to anything. Leave if you want to leave. But the fact that they can't stand to have a platform that is free speech where other people can have a voice that's equal to theirs, which is what it's all about. We saw lots of these celebrities complaining when Elon changed the verification process. So it was no longer just, the verified tab was no longer just a hub of celebrities giving each other a pat on the back and ignoring the common folk. It was now a case that anyone could subscribe and anyone could join that club. They don't like it. They want to be above people. And Don Lemon's a great example of this, in that he used to have a massive platform. Now he's out there on the street doing vox pops, which is what journalists do when they're just starting out. So he's fallen from his grace, so to speak, and he's hateful, he's resentful. He doesn't like the new regime, and therefore he's making a statement. But of course he will be back. Of course he will. They all will, because X is the biggest news platform in the world, right? Bigger than Guardian, bigger than any other outlet. So if you want to share your news, you want to share your information, you want people to see what you've got to say, you're going to be putting it on X. And if you're not, you're cutting your nose off to spite your face.
Yeah, these people are despicable snobs, actually. They hate ordinary people. I think you're completely right, Calvin. Thank you so much for watching Dan Wootton Outspoken. Please click on my face just to the bottom left to subscribe to this brand new independent news source and turn on the notification bell so you'll be alerted to our brand new live shows, uncancelled interviews, and special royal episodes. Outspoken is also now available as a podcast, so you can listen to the show every weekday on the go, wherever you are.